This is the Undercover Dumpster Fire revamped. We got Mindy. She's back. What's up, Mindy?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Hey, we've just been talking backstage before you got on here, and we got to talk about the biggest undercover dumpster fire that was ever exposed today on this podcast, the Undercover Dumpster Fire. We're talking about the fallout and the repercussions and the implications and what to do with all that energy around the Epstein files being released.
Yeah.
This is a huge thing. This is a giant undercover dumpster fire on a global scale. And we happen to be in front of it. And we're talking today. Let me tell you who Mindy really is. Because the last time we did a podcast together. It was more brief. And I'm just going to read you a little bit about who Mindy is so you get an idea of who's on this show. And again, I'm Willy Bearden. I am a profiler in training. I'm a licensed mental health professional. I work with special operations, military, veterans, or first responders, and people who've been traumatized in every way. And I've worked all over the country. So that's who I am. I am also the president of the Undercover Dumpster Fire, which is a nonprofit. And I'll get more into that later. But this is Mindy, okay? Mindy Doherty. She's an RN, an author of The Resilient Warrior. It's a children's book called The Dragon's Voice. She's a U.S. Army veteran, badass. Resilient Warrior is her autobiography and her journey with post-traumatic stress disorder, and is an abuse survivor. She counsels veterans and others to prevent suicide, creates awareness of how to overcome PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And the book that she wrote is available in over 15 countries and has been bought in at least 8 countries. And she's been told it's been an inspiration to many, and I agree. So the kids' book, Dragon's Voice, has tools to assist kids in calming their nervous system and reclaiming their life and sovereignty after being sex trafficked, sexually, mentally, or physically abused. It opens a conversation piece to incorporate child safety and situational awareness. That's badass. There's more to it. I'm going to save the rest. We'll let Mindy talk more because you can't fit everything Mindy's doing into this little screen and this little time that we have. But you get an idea who Mindy is. And Mindy, do you want to say anything just in response to, say hello to everybody?
So hello, everybody. I am Mindy Doherty, and I am a huge advocate I'm like the people's advocate, basically. So I do advocate for veterans a lot, and then women as well, and then people in general, and then kids, because right now there's a lot of stuff going on where human trafficking and sex trafficking is going on right in our back doors. And I live in a state where I never would have thought that literally my back door has a pathway to go straight to, and it's like the number 1 or number 2 of the highest for sex trafficking right now. Wow. And it makes my stomach ill. So when I found this out, it kind of got me angry. Actually, I found this out 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And with COVID happening, it was almost as if it was an excuse for people to shut their eyes. And then when I found that out, it almost lit a fire under my feet, because I was like, you know what? If people are going to be quiet, I'm just going to get louder.
Yeah.
Let them stay quiet.
It's America.
And, I just got louder and louder, and people were like, okay, I get it. And I'm like, do you really get it? Are you sure you get it? Are you going to come with me now? They're like, okay, let's join in, let's figure this out. I'm like, okay, well, this is what I want to do. And then at first I just had my adult, resilient warrior. And then what I had figured out in my mind was, let me go back to my childhood and really dive into like what happened. Because when I was younger, I was about 4.5 years old, turning 5 years old. And we were sitting in an apartment building because we were broke as a joke. And so my friend, there was a guy who got through the fence line and approached us. And he said, hey, I lost some puppies. Can you help me find them? My mom drilled this in my head with America's Most Wanted when we were watching that show is don't
Okay.
ever go with anybody looking for puppies and candy because she knew I loved candy. And I was like,
Yeah.
you got candy, I'm going.
Mhm.
You hear the bells for the fire or the little truck, ice cream truck, I'm coming. So
Mhm.
she was always bringing out scenarios and stuff like that. And I was really grateful that she actually did because he was asking us, and I told her multiple times, like, please don't go, don't do this. My mom said not to do this. And she's like, oh, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. And at that point, even at that age, I knew that it was wrong. But she went and I went and told my mom immediately what happened. And my mom said, let's go to the store and let's get out of here for a little bit because she knew I was upset. And when we got back, there was a plethora of cops. So she was kidnapped and murdered. And so
Mm.
for me, and really gnarly sexually abused. And so the way that she was, the conditions that she was found, it's one of those things where you can never forget ever. So I wanted to go back to that and really figure out like, what can I do to have parents, especially, open up conversations with their children? So then I created lessons in this children's book, thinking like, oh, I'm just going to try to do this, and then I experienced so much like processing issues when I was younger because I got, a lot of trauma. And then unfortunately, I have my own, like, I'm an incest survivor, and my brother used to like beat me until I couldn't walk and different things, tried to drown me, all sorts of other things that had happened that I write about. And so I wanted to make sure that people understood like I had struggles with reading. So I wanted the lessons to be throughout and not just have to figure it out at the end because I don't understand page to page. So I wanted the lessons to appear as they go. And that would help police officers also when they pick the kids up or people for my adult book. But the children's book, it would basically open up the conversation for when they're about to get interviewed. And it would calm their nervous system down because when you're giving them something to read, it's almost like a gift. So it gives them a way to be happy just even for a moment before
Mhm.
they're diving into the story or even afterwards when they've dived into their story and they're traumatized really, or they're crying or they're going through some stuff. And then we give them this book and they can look at it. And even if they can't read, if somebody reads it to them, there's lessons in there that basically human nature, don't steal, how to create a win-win. And the most important one that I teach parents and the police and the fire departments and anybody who gets my book is listen to your intuition. And that is even for me to remind myself, even up until today, like yesterday, I got approached virtually through a photographer that wanted to take photos of me. And I've been taking photos since I was like, I think 3, I started.
Mhm.
And the inappropriateness that had come out when I found out, like, he was grooming me little by little, and all these like red flags, just like little flags came up first. And I was like, that's interesting. What I found is I watched this guy, Gavin DeBecker from The Gift of Fear. And he
Mhm.
said, anytime that you're like, that was off, or that's weird, that you should listen to that because that's your intuition always speaking. And us as women, I tend to like just, oh, he's just being this way, or oh, he's just being nice, or oh, he's just joking. But then it got to the point where he was like, I want to take pictures of you and I want you to be, basically it broke down to he wanted me to do porn, video, nude, and then he wanted to touch me. And I was like, look, at all of those are a negative in this
Mhm.
realm of mine. Like I'm very clear about my boundaries, especially nowadays. I wasn't before. I used to get sucked in really fast. And it's almost like when you're in this abuse situation, and I think this is the most important thing that people understand with these Epstein files and stuff like that that's going on. And they're like, well, why would somebody do that? Like how it's almost like you're ingrained and trained. If you've been groomed since you were a child, it's almost like a robot, unfortunately. It's like a button just gets pushed and all of a sudden you're like, do. Oh, you want me to take my clothes off? Oh, here we go. And then
Mhm.
before you know it, you're doing all these things and you're like, and later on you're going home and then you just feel like so guilty and you think, oh, I did something wrong, when really it's just old patterns that come up, and I really want people
Yeah.
to understand that it's not your fault, when things happen, especially like when you're getting groomed or, people assault you and stuff like that. And you had no idea that you were going in on a date and then somebody decides to take the nth degree and do some things like
Mhm.
put some stuff in your drinks or, put some stuff in your food. All of a sudden you're passed out with some GHB or some new stuff that's coming out, that's unreal.
Mhm.
And then you're getting tied up and then all of a sudden you have no way out, which
Mhm.
I've been talking to other people about in their experiences that have happened to them. And I think it's imperative that we teach people those golden signs, that anytime that your intuition's speaking to you, that we just listen to that. And then we can teach other people like, hey, if there's ever a point in time where you're like, that was off,
Mhm.
run, walk away.
Yeah.
And people think, oh, that's like so it's an exaggeration. No, not really. Because every time I haven't done that, something's gone wrong and something's just not fitted in my own realm of personality. It's like, why did I do that? Like, how did this even come about? Like, what the heck did I just do?
Mhm. Yeah. Wow. And I say that with sensitivity. You and I have talked a
Sure.
lot about this stuff, and you are a wealth of information, and how you use it is beautiful. And
Thanks.
yeah, like you, and if you look at this is the Undercover Dumpster Fire. I can cry on here if I want. And you brought some tears to my eyes when you were talking about what you've been through and now what you do. And I want to bring up a concept that we're introducing is the civilian auxiliary force. And what this is, and I'm going to ask you a question here in just a second. So the civilian auxiliary force is a grassroots movement.
Oh,
It's
great.
built on the OSS and how that used to collect intelligence, and then the Civilian Conservation Corps, which that came after World War II, and they helped build things. They built parks, they did projects. It was everyday people coming
Nice.
together to build a community, but also get stuff done. And so, what the Civilian Auxiliary Force is a combination of both. It's gathering open source intelligence and passing that along to the appropriate people to act on it. So this is taking everyday Americans, especially the veterans and first responders. Come on now. Those are our people.
Gotta unite these people.
We need to come together on this.
Yeah.
And if everybody, in my theory, if everybody were to learn how to gather information and pass it along. Mind you, we're not snitching. Who are we talking about? Predators,
Right. And
pedophiles.
pedophiles. Yeah.
I don't care about snitching on them. Who gives a crap about that? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I'm trying not to swear too much because I always and so that was me trying to be PG-13. But we're talking about stuff that'll get us shadow banned anyway, so who cares? But the point is, civilian auxiliary force is for everybody. It's free. It doesn't cost anything, and we're gonna add the part of this program with the Undercover Dumpster Fire being a nonprofit is we are gonna move to Patreon so we can be as loud and gritty and real and raw as we can possibly be. Because
So we
that
don't get taken down, because I've gotten taken down more than once.
Yes. So we're gonna do that. That's my ask of everybody. In
Yeah.
the next couple weeks, we're gonna switch over to Patreon, and there'll be a very small amount of money asked to subscribe to that to continue what we're doing. And you're gonna hear all about it. But we're also gonna bring on people who train and will train us and train anyone who is on that account, that Patreon account, to be able to learn how to observe just everyday information. You know what? I
Right.
get information every day that is about corruption, and I turn it in. Why not? This is America. It's a
Right.
free country. And if people are frauding the system, sorry, not sorry, you're going to have to pay the piper. And it's not me.
Right.
Like we need everybody to join up on this. So the point I'm asking, I had to explain all that. That's a big
No, you
long,
have to.
but I need you. I should say I need you. I want you to. I would like you to say a little bit about why you are doing what you're doing right now, and why are we on this podcast together? What are we working on? What are we doing?
Yeah, so I think it's imperative that I come out and represent a whole beingness of, yes, this was my past, but that doesn't make me who I am today. And it won't dictate my future, because a lot of people think, oh, this is what happened to me in my past, so this is destined for my future. No, just because all this stuff happened to me, I feel like I've been therapized, but there's always some more therapy I can do, right? So I do what I'm a Watsu practitioner as well. So I get people in the water, in warm water and like the hot springs, and do shiatsu massage in the water. So I work with people with PTSD, depression, anxiety, people that have had strokes, MS, spinal cord issues, people that have had severe intellectual disabilities, and pretty much anybody that's gone through trauma, because that's my biggest, like the people that I usually like to work with, because there's a plethora of other people that can work with people that have just had a little bit going on or like need counseling. So what I like to do is reset the nervous system anytime I can, try to help somebody like calm themselves down and realize that just because even the nightmares that people have and stuff like that, we can get them to calm down. And once you calm down that nervous system and you can reset it, then you can reset your future as well. So it's a stepping stone, really. It's going from your past, creating a ladder that basically helps you assist to get to the next point. And so if you have point A and you know where point A is, that's all you got to figure out. Where's point A? Then find your compass, which is the ladder, and then go to point B and figure out, like, what is it that I can do to help you? Help you get over your stuff. If you need a resource, let me find you a resource. If I don't have the resource, I can reach out to the people that I know and find you a resource. Or if I'm not in your state, I've had other people that like want to travel to the state where I'm at, and we figure it out. If I'm not available, then there's other things like equine therapy, gardening. I use gardening a lot because I used to teach one seed, one plant, and one garden at a time. And what that meant was literally going from your trauma, putting it into the plants that you have, making it so that you garden, then create more plants for your neighbors and for other people that aren't able to eat or aren't able to grow. So basically it was a concept, and then it got to Australia and then the UK and England, and it was called Feed My City. And it was just a little concept that I just thought of, and I wanted like 50 trees in the backyard, not knowing that so 400 square feet doesn't really do a lot. So and all these trees, and I'm like, oh, none of them are growing because there's not enough space. Like, I can't have an orchard. But other people got this concept, and they started growing, and they started bringing it into the grocery stores, food banks, different sponsored programs that help people eat, because that was important to me. If you don't have the right substance to eat, your brain isn't going to work. If your brain's not going to work, then I could talk to you all day, and it's going to go in la la land. So we need to bring that back as well. And then for our children's sake, teaching them the principles and making sure that the parents understand what to do and have these open conversations so that some of this stuff doesn't happen. And then also, as a veteran, my biggest deal right now is I want to get to the White House and help President Trump understand we need our medical changes right now. We are not getting the medical care that we need. Unfortunately, I was tortured for 4 straight months, as you know, like we've talked about this before, and it's in my book. It left me bedbound for 3 years and 8 months, but I couldn't really walk for like 7 years. Then I finally got stem cells in my spinal cord, and that helped a plethora of amount, and I stopped stuttering, all these other things. But my biggest thing is, if we don't help these veterans, it's not just 22 a day that are committing suicide. It's first responders that are committing suicide. It's police officers that are my friends that are committing suicide. It's people that have this trauma that are embarrassed too. And I want to open this up to men as well and help them understand it is not your fault if things happen to you as well. And it is not an embarrassment. it is not something to feel guilty about. And I have helped many, 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 many men to understand this, because they feel guilty, or they feel ashamed, or they begin to hate women, or they even hate themselves. And mostly hate really comes from an anger point of view, and anger is really just hurt and fear. If we all, get interconnected and realize, like, men are getting assaulted as well, and we don't talk about that enough, and boys are getting assaulted as well. And this whole human and sex trafficking is super important for me to help create awareness. And if people hate me, good.
Whatever.
Hate me for this reason, but I'm still going to keep going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Check. I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm not going to stop talking about my story. And I think that it's important and imperative that people understand that, number one, it's not your fault. Number two, let's get you help. And then number three, make a difference. Like, now that you've gotten the help, and you're like, now that I am where I'm at now, I can help other people. You can't help other people from a lack. It's like putting on your oxygen mask in the airplane before you put your kids on. You have to help yours first. If you're going in a burning building, you need your equipment. Well, let's get the equipment on for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So this is what's cool is I love to support people that do good work, and I use social media backwards. So you're supposed to put your stuff out there and get people to follow you. I don't care about followers. Fuck followers. I don't care about likes. Fuck likes. I don't care about people subscribing. I really don't care about that. What I actually care about is levitating, like people who are doing good, like Mindy, and veterans, giving a voice to veterans. And right now, because of the time we're in and what's happening in this country and actually around the world, with the collapse of all these people who are said to have served the country, and then, oh, by the way, they're also pedophiles, they're also involved, they're also blackmailed, I guarantee you that. And here's the thing, we need to talk about it as a country, and we need to bring people together. And it's going to take people from all walks of life. It's going to take people from the far right, from the far left, everybody in the middle. And we need to come together to build bridges and bonds over this topic. I don't care. We don't have to agree on everything. We don't have to agree on all the things. We do need to agree that this needs to stop in our country, and corruption has gone wild, and now things are collapsing, and people are starting to freak out. They're wondering, what's happening right now? What do I do? And that's exactly why we're here. I want to say why Mindy is here again. For the second time. She'll be here a bunch more times, because I think it's imperative for women to hear from other women about how to recover. And I'm a man in every way. I don't care, people, whatever. You can say whatever you want, genders, whatever. I believe there's two genders, and that's going to get a shadow ban. I don't give a shit. Everyone can have their own belief. This is America. You can have different beliefs. You can believe whatever you want. You can be a tree if you want. I'm a man. And I'm not a cis man. I'm not none of that shit.
Yeah, I'm full woman. That's it.
Man and woman, that's what we have here, okay? Yeah. So if you don't like it, then you're not part of our tribe. You're not part of what we're trying to talk about. But here's what I'm actually trying to say before I tick you all off, until you tell everybody and get it shut down.
Right, I'm like, we do care.
We do care, but it's not, those are not real issues that we need to talk about. Those are distractions. Those are distractions from really what's happening right now. We're being told, these people over here need to hate these people over here, and these people over here need to hate these people over here. And meanwhile, there's a giant undercover dumpster fire raging across our country, the United States of America.
Too many kids are getting trafficked, and it's human trafficking, really. You can call it whatever you want to, but there's sex trafficking, or it's all human trafficking.
Yep.
Women, children, boys, girls, men, women.
And it's everywhere. And they're in the video games. They're hitting our country in every way. So we need to wake up.
Especially with this new AI going on.
Yep, AI. I mean, so the whole thing with this is that we have to unite over something, or else we're going to be divided and we're going to fall.
Right.
United we stand, divided we fall. I say it every day. When I'm out running with the flag, people never ask me why I'm running with the flag. It only happened one time that they asked me. And then they said, hey, for veterans and victims. That's why I run with the flag. You asked. You thought I was over here in this camp over here like a crazy person. No, I'm actually just somebody who gives a shit. I'm just a regular guy. And I'm just using what I have to help inspire people. And so are you, Mindy. That's why you're on here. You're on here because you're a woman, and that's not a sexist thing. It's just a fact that women need to hear from other women, and men need to hear from other men. And we need to start talking about real issues in our country, and it needs to be like immediate. And the only way I can possibly think, and I'm going to give credit to where credit is due. So the civilian auxiliary force was not my idea. This was my lovely, amazing, my hero, my fucking twin brother. And when he didn't want to act on it, I said, I will do that. He didn't want anything to do with, what's going on with the way he just wanted to disappear. I get it. Do your thing, brother. Love you. I will always love you. And also what you created was something beautiful. And now we're going to see it in action. And I love what we're doing. So I was at the state capitol of Denver yesterday, or state capitol of Colorado in Denver yesterday. And I talked to the executive branch of the Colorado State Patrol. They patrol the grounds.
Nice. Yeah.
And I always talk to the cops when I'm out running around and stuff, because they see me. I'm 6'4". I'm wearing a 40-pound weight vest. I got a helmet on yesterday. I was running around with a fire helmet on. Like, I'm trying to.
They're probably thinking, like, is this guy mentally unstable or what's going on?
Yeah, he is. Maybe he's actually right. So you guys can figure that out. I think I'm right. I think that people are not curious anymore. They're very certain. They don't ask questions. And that's part of the system. We need to check the system, right? We need
checks and balances.
We need to figure out what kind of system are we under right now. And remember, I'm a profiler in training. So I look for psychops. I look for people who are trying to establish control and bad behaviors, bad actors. And so I talked to the state patrol guy, and I'm not going to say which ones. I talked to them all. But I'll just say that it was very enlightening. He said, and this makes me cry, but I'll try to keep it together. He said, first off, he said, thank you for running with the flag, or carrying the flag. And I said, absolutely. And I showed him my bib from the team red, white, and blue.
Nice.
I'm running 100 miles this month to support team red, white, and blue in the global war on terror. So that's what I'm doing out there, if anybody cares to fucking ask. And so this guy asked, hey, what are you doing with the flag? And I said, hey, I'm walking 100 miles for global war on terror to remember the people who died in the Iraq war and the families that are left behind that still struggle. And guess what? That war still goes on today. It's just now it looks different. And so here's the thing. The guy told me that, he said, I'm really happy to see you run with, like, I run, but he saw me walking. I'm really happy that you are carrying this flag, because you're the first person I've seen carry the flag right side up.
Oh, wow. Are people doing it upside down? Do they not know that that's a distress symbol?
Yeah, I don't know what they know. He said I'm the only one. I don't even live in Colorado. This is what pisses me off. I don't even live in Colorado, and I'm here because my family is here, and I care about my family, and I want them to see who their dad really is. Right. Dad stands up for what he believes. He'll do it when nobody else is there. I'm alone. And yesterday I wasn't, though. I had other people there with me. But the point being, though, is people are carrying flags upside down. They're carrying Venezuela, Ukraine, Israel, all of the other flags. And there's one guy. So here's the lesson in this. One person can make a difference.
Absolutely.
One person. All I do when I go out for a walk, and then when I run, I like to run, and I'll run as fast as I can. Yesterday I ran a 5-minute mile, and I'm an old man. Wow. I think that's pretty badass.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
So God gave me a gift and I'm using it. And so yesterday, this is what I do. I told the cop this. All I do is I walk around and talk to people. I wave the peace sign, which also means V for victory after World War II. It also
Right.
means victims and veterans to me. And so I wave and I smile. And you know what? The cool thing is, here's what blows my mind and why I know we're in a giant psyop is everybody that probably 80% of the people, when I do this and wave, they wave back.
Doesn't hurt to smile.
They wave
Doesn't
back.
cost a thing either.
So the whole thing that we see on media, I don't even watch the news. Fuck the news. You know what? That's paid. That is paid media. And I know we're getting shadow banned for this because media only cares about money.
Right.
They care about continuing the chaos. If you watch my Instagram stories, I call these people out. There's bot farms. This is insane stuff, right? So I'm pulling this from Sean Ryan's podcast also. So giving you a shout out, Sean, because he was exposing some of these bot farms and what they do. So this is Russia and China.
Wow.
Employing bot farms in Somalia and parts of Africa.
Can you explain what a bot farm is?
So a bot farm is where people are employed, real people are employed to create fake accounts
Oh, okay.
on social media. And what they do is they incite violence.
Oh.
They incite violence. That's their job. They respond. They don't have any pictures. They don't have any followers. They have probably 0 likes or nothing. There's nothing on it. And
Right.
what I do is I tag them and I put them in my story and say, there's another one. I had 2 more today. 2 more today. Over the whole Super Bowl thing when I was like dancing to Kid Rock in a fire helmet and said, all I do is I just love God, my country, my family, and I'm something like that. I didn't say anything about politics, but that went viral because people don't ask questions and everyone's like, man, you're a pedophile. And I'm like, do you even know me? You don't know me for nothing. And I guarantee you would not say that to my face. I guarantee it.
Oh, I was called a racist, and I'm like, no,
I know, they jumped
from a
on you.
racist. I'm like, wait, what
So
about me?
I get all riled up, but here's the thing: is people just they're not curious anymore. They don't ask any questions. They know everything.
They got keyboard warriors out there,
right? And they're just but bot farms, those are paid actors.
I didn't know
from
that.
Outside of the country.
Jeez Louise.
Trying to break down our country. And I'm not the only one talking about it. Sean Ryan's been talking about it. There's other people. I'm sure there's a ton of people talking about it. And in my opinion, we should be talking about it. And
absolutely.
The only thing I can think of is be educated on it and call it out what it is. When I put those people in my stories and I'm like, hey, here's another one. Here's another bot farm, inciting violence. And guess what? The thing I found today, this is really going to make people upset. Probably get it pulled or whatever. But I report those as harassment and bullying. And guess what? Nothing happens. Nothing happens. When somebody says like, you're a piece of shit, you're a pedophile, you're raping babies. That's the kind of stuff that I hear. And I report that as harassment and bullying, and nothing happens to that account. Nothing.
Wow.
So put it together. We don't have to say it, but put that together. What's happening right now? If that stuff can exist, then why? Why does it exist? Why does it continue? Why doesn't it stop? Why doesn't anyone stop it? We don't have to answer it, because if we do, then we're definitely.
It's all about the money, really, when it comes down to it. It's people making money to do disruption. Same thing with like the ICE situations and people creating a distraction for the cops, and so they can't do their job, and then the cops look bad, and it's just a mess. It's a hot mess right now.
Yeah, it's an undercover dumpster fire, and it's raging. And here's what I think we should do with it is pull that civilian auxiliary force, that concept. This is a nationwide thing that can happen. And I do intend to hold rallies. And I intend to hold rallies of peace, of love, of unity, of building bonds. And there's people that don't want to see that. And I understand that. there was like 6 months of me not sleeping because I knew what I was asked to do. And by asked, I mean, I feel like God gave me a divine mission and I'm on it. And I said yes. And I'm continuing to go. And I know it's dangerous, but like I was a fireman. If God wanted me dead, he would have killed me a long time ago. You know, I've been to prison. If you wanted me dead, I would have been dead in there a long freaking time ago. You know, when I was a kid and growing up. And where's my parents? They weren't there. You know, like I could have died a long time ago. And we're here for a reason. And people need to wake up. And so I think people should join the Civilian Auxiliary Force because one, it's free. Two, we're going to train you on how to observe and report information that can help lead to convictions. And guess what? If you report something and nothing happens, that's great. Because there's people looking at that now. There's people that are looking at it. You report something and nothing happens, you don't think that that's going to circle back around?
Well, and what people don't understand too is there's a paper trail when you guys put this stuff on media and you basically want to create harm or you're threatening me or threatening other people. There's a paper trail. So if something does happen, don't think that they're not going to know where it happened from. You're like dictating what's happening here, people.
Yes, exactly. There's a digital footprint everywhere.
Right. Exactly.
We have more. This thing right here, this thing follows you everywhere you go.
Yes.
And trust me, you can try and be invisible. Good luck.
Yeah, no, they find you. That's what's called pinging. Ping.
People think, no, I can get away with anything now. Guess what? You can't. And guess what? So there's 1.1 million people in the Department of Defense. And I forget how many millions of veterans there are. All we need is a fraction of those to come together.
Right.
That's all we need, a fraction. And then first responders, a fraction. And then everyday Americans who are sick of the corruption and sick of seeing elite people get away with everything. And I get it. I'll have a target on my back. But you know what? I got God on my side. How big is God? I mean, the one that I serve is bigger than anything. So, like, I know what I'm saying. It sounds crazy, and maybe I am. Maybe I'm right. So I guess we can try to figure that out. But here's what I want to have happen is I want people to reach out to Mindy if they need support, if they need resources, if they need a female perspective. Obviously, she's one person, so we can't have like a million people hitting her up all at once. But you can also
come at me.
You can follow her on here. You can follow what she's doing. Where is your socials and stuff located? Because this is
I'm on Facebook under Mindy Doherty, which is right there, and then on Instagram I'm under Water Gypsy without the vowels, so WTRGPSY, because I'm a Watsu therapist or Watsu practitioner, same thing. And I'm on, my professional sites are LinkedIn. I'm on TikTok. My YouTube is not so high because I just forgot about it.
But you're now on YouTube, so you'll be good. Yeah,
there you go. So mostly Instagram and Facebook though are my biggest ones that I really do, and I think I'm almost up to like 10,000 on TikTok, but it's one of those things where I forget sometimes, and people like message me from there, and I answer all the messages. Every message I've ever gotten, I've pretty much answered. And people are like, "Oh my gosh, you actually answered me!" I'm like, yeah, you asked me a question. It's people just forget that, like, yes, I'm a human.
Only so much time. Yeah,
right. But I can only take so much. So when people are sending me like 50 reels, I might mute you. Because I can't get through. I want to get through things that are important, and I want to get to the people that need help. So if you're sending me garbage, the garbage is going to go in the trash.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and I think here's where. So like I almost never ask for help. It's like it's a guy thing, and it's a first.
It's like asking for directions.
Right, like we'll be lost and we'll just be like, I'm not asking nothing, like whatever, I'll suffer.
Whereas I'm first, like, I'm lost. Help me find somewhere.
Yeah, well, and here's where I'm going to try to say is that we need help in so many ways, because to try to address to try to address predators and people like that in our country, and it seems to be that they're everywhere, then we need everybody from everywhere and to join in. And the only way I know how to do that is a grassroots effort. And so you can join on right now. If you go to I have a disaster medical practice. So I am a licensed clinician. You can look me up. You don't have to, but you can. You can profile the crap out of me because I'm going to profile the shit out of you. Anyway, go to www.challenger, like the car, CHALLENGER point POINT.com. That's my medical practice. In there, you'll see there's a donate button if you want to donate to the Undercover Dumpster Fire, which is what we're on now. This is a nonprofit.
Say that link one more time.
This is www.challenger-point.com. So a little minus sign. And if you want to go on there, you can donate to the Undercover Dumpster Fire, which immediately goes to helping both educate people on human trafficking, sex trafficking, what recovery services. This podcast is part of that. And also we have Roger, that TV show coming out this summer. Which is under the Undercover Dumpster Fire, and we're gonna do a TV show about it. We need people to donate because if you care about America, then we need to do something. So skip coffee one day, donate $5. Just if we had like 100 people do that,
$5 for coffee. I think there was like $8 the other day.
My goodness. Yeah. So, and I don't want to be the only one running with a flag out there. Like Colorado needs to wake up. And so I'm going to hold rallies at the Capitol.
Nice.
And we're going to keep doing that until stuff changes in Colorado. And then I'm going to go other places. I'm supposed to be in Las Vegas. You guarantee I'll be there. Miami, you guarantee I'll be there. And I'm supposed to be in Nashville in 2 months. You guarantee I'll be there, running with the flag and doing the same thing, talking about veterans and victims. And what we're trying to do is raise awareness. And if all goes well, this year alone, 2026, and Mindy's one of these people, we intend to employ 125 military veterans to help fight this problem. And guess what? All those special op guys, all those people who did intelligence, and then they got out of the military, and then they're like, now what? Those are the people that we're hiring.
Yeah, they need a purpose.
They need a reason. And why not? Why not give the veterans a job? Give them something that they can be proud of and put food on their table. And then their skills are immediately helpful. And here's the thing I need to be very clear is we're not interrupting anything. We're actually supplementing law enforcement. I have established connections with law enforcement. So when things are reported to me, I have a direct link to provide that to an organization or a task force. And I'm not going to get into that on this platform, but I'll just tell you that anything told to me and any one of those 125 veterans that I intend to employ this year, that we intend to employ, is going to go directly to law enforcement that will do something about it. That's why we're doing this, because veterans need a purpose and victims need a voice.
And they need to know that they're not victims anymore, that we're actually survivors.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I didn't know how to do an S. Like, I'd have to.
I don't know, but when you say victim, it's like, it gets my ears like, we're not victims anymore.
I'm a trauma therapist. I've worked with, trust me, I've been all over the country. The Las Vegas shooting, I brought 85 survivors, victims. You have to use the language that,
right?
Unless they change that, victims, advocates, and victims service.
Well, we are victims at first, but then you become a survivor.
You become a survivor. So we're trying to find those people who are still stuck.
Yes.
And they don't have a voice. And Mindy is one of your voices. And so am I. And my goal is to raise money. And that's why I'm in this acting industry. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I care about people enough to use what I have, which is basically nothing. And I run a medical practice. I counsel, first responders and military veterans. And then I hear how angry they are about what's going on in the country. And then this is my response to it. Is all right, profiler training. All right, let's do some rallies. All right, run with the flag. All right, let's promote everybody
Right.
and raise some awareness and see how far we can get. See how fast we can grow. Can it grow like wildfire? I hope so. If you go to challenger-point.com and click to sign up, it's free. And yes, I will profile you because I'm not going to have vigilantes involved. It's not happening. I'll shut that down in a heartbeat.
It's
But
important that we have the right people.
we need people who have level heads. And I know I'm amped up right now, but like I can be very calm and collect when I need to be. I just need you to know how important it is and that you can hear it in my voice. Like I cry over this stuff and I'm a man and I fucking cry over it because it's sad to be the only one in that runs anywhere near the state capital of Colorado with a flag right side up. That's sad. That makes me sad. And it should make you sad. And if you want to do something about it, then we have a path. And we do need a lot of help. It's volunteer right now, but we need to raise money to see me at some rallies, buy her books, and then subscribe, like, and follow this podcast. YouTube, I get it. They shadow ban us from day one. So our fans.
That's why I don't follow mine anymore. Facebook and Instagram does the same thing somewhat too.
Yep. But if somebody out there wants to volunteer and they can help with the Patreon account or they have some other system that works better, I'm all ears. This is the Undercover Dumpster Fire. We're just figuring it out as we go. But Mindy is going to be back as many times as I can have her back on here, which I think it should be every time. Sometimes, who knows, like I might not even be on here, and she might be on here or something like that. Or none of us are on here. We have other people. But either way, just know why we exist. Undercover Dumpster Fire is a nonprofit, and we exist we exist to dismantle, disrupt, and interrupt for good the corruption that's in our country. And we intend to help law enforcement with the issue of human trafficking, sex trafficking.
We're making a difference
right now. And if anybody wants to join that, they can. And we're going to wrap here because I got to go do therapies with some veterans. But Mindy, do you have anything else you want to share? Anything that we didn't cover? Any call outs, shout outs, anything that you want to add before we break?
I think my biggest call to action as well is trying to figure out how I can take my books and get an investor, a true investor, to make it into a story so that I can inspire people around the world instead of just here. And then also with my book, maybe make it into a cartoon so that children can understand it from a different point of view that can't read, or, the people that can't write that are illiterate. Because there's a lot of people that actually are very well uninformed and very uneducated. And that's okay. I'm not going to judge it because I didn't understand how to read. I have a lot of processing issues still that I'm working with. Mm-hmm. So I want to take my book and make it into a film or even like a TV series and make a change for people and inspire people from their homes or from their computers, or whatever, their phones, whatever you're using. And, my book is available on Walmart.com, Barnes & Noble, as well as Amazon. And it's a dragon's voice, and it looks like this.
So cool.
And then this one is called Resilient Warrior. Many different titles. There's The Resilient Warrior. That's an actual police officer. And he's, if you want that one, you get his book. But if you see my face, Resilient this one is the right one. And the money, I pretty much get $1 a book, actually. So it's not that much, but it adds up at some point. And I'm in police departments right now. I'm in 6 different states so far. I'm trying to expand that. I'm trying to go anywhere I go. I bring my book and ask, hey, would you want to put this into your police department or your fire department or family advocacy groups or anywhere that I can get my book that'll make a difference? That's where I want to make a difference in my life, for my life, my story. And what I basically want to do as well is bring it to the White House and tell President Trump, we need to help our veterans get better medical care because we are lab rats right now. Yeah. And I know people are going to get really mad, but there's also people that are going to be really happy that I said this because I've gone to Congress multiple times and I've said we need change. And that's, pretty much in 2014, I opened up the biggest can of worms. And I was like, we need to get community service. So basically we're getting community care, not just because of me. Obviously there's plenty of other people that have like jumped on the bandwagon. Great. Jump on the bandwagon and let's make a difference. But collectively, let's make a difference in a bigger picture so that we are not in a situation where I was bedbound for so long because I couldn't get help. And the thing that people don't realize, and the biggest thing that they don't realize, is once you go to the VA hospital, I couldn't go to another hospital and get care because the doctors would have to take responsibility. If they took responsibility, they would have to actually see what went on, and they would have to basically document what they saw. Many doctors said no. Many lawyers were afraid. They were bullied and they were harassed, and all these other things that people just don't even comprehend at this point in time. And I'll get into that, at another point in time. But I think it's really, really important that we help our veterans understand that it's going to take us a lot. It's going to take all of us, or, at least a majority of us, to get on board and stop separating the gaps. Like, yes, go do your own program. That's great. I want you to do your own program. I want you to be independent. But I also want you to come together and stop fighting over left, right, top, bottom, whatever.
Yeah.
Come together collectively because we are humans. It's not even about just veterans at this point in time. It's humans. It's human trafficking, basically. It's child trafficking. We need to figure out how we can collectively come together and stop arguing about the other stuff. I don't care about the other stuff. I care about helping people. That is why I think I was created. That's why I'm a nurse. I was a trauma nurse and then interventional radiology. I've been a medical researcher for 31 years now. I really genuinely want to help in the right way and not get convoluted into these other programs that people are talking about. I want to figure out a way to help people. So I'm really looking for investors that really want to take this book onto a different level and make it into a movie or a television series so that we can make a difference.
Yeah. And I've never addressed the president. And if I did, I would say, thank you, sir, for what you're doing right now. And you should really take a look at Mindy's book because it should be in the White House somewhere, man. I hope that he hears this someday. And anybody that sees this, I hope you share it. You tell Mr. Trump that he needs to talk to Mindy because Mindy's a veteran. She's a badass. And she is resilient. She is a face for America, if you ask me. And maybe I have a big thought, big brain or whatever, thinking about big things. But Mindy is a big thing. And what she's been through is valuable. And we need to support people like that, which is why I exist. I feel like I was given these gifts to like hold people up and encourage people. And you'll see this, but this is a lighthouse right here. That's what I am. I'm a light bearer, and what my job is to do is to raise people up, give people a voice. So we want people on this podcast that have been through their own undercover dumpster fire. And if you want to do that, you need to send an email, either or a DM or get a hold of us in one which way or the other.
You can message me and I'll send it to you.
Yep. Message Mindy or come to my website. I am building out the Undercover Dumpster Fire. It's just literally I spend every dollar that I have on everything I'm doing right now. This practice, 16-cent productions, Roger That, Undercover Dumpster Fire, you name it. And I donate to charity, because why not? And, these are money isn't even mine. Like, I feel like we're stewards of it. And when I get it, I give it away. And yes, my bills are paid, but we have a lot of money to raise. And if you give me a blank check, I need 25 million this year. And we can build a couple facilities. We can work with mental health centers. We can have the human trafficking survivors become peer specialists and reaching out to other human trafficking survivors. And then they have a job. So you give me money or you give us money, and that's just what we're going to do with it. You're going to hear more about that. Creating purpose. And Mr. Trump, thank you for your service. I hope you see Mindy very soon. And we're going to wrap here because I got to go. But
thank you so much for having me on. I so appreciate it.
Oh, Mindy, you're the best. You are the best. And you're going to change so many people's lives. You already have. We're just going to amplify that. And you can check this podcast out live on YouTube, just under the live videos. It's going to go on Patreon. We'll get that set up. It's going to go on Spotify, and then that's also on Apple Podcasts. So subscribe, like, share, comment. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you very, very, very soon, because we're going to start getting this thing lit up. All right, y'all. Thank you, Mindy.
Thank you.
Yep. See you soon.
All right. See you soon.